We begin with politics. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has excluded all candidates submitted by Julius Abure and his faction of the Labour Party from the final list of the August 16, 2025 by-elections and the Federal Capital Territory Area Council elections. In a firm statement released, INEC clarified that the disqualification stems from the expiration of Abure's tenure as national chairman of the Labour Party on June 8, 2023. The decision is backed by a Supreme Court judgment which declared that Abure and his National Working Committee no longer possess any legal authority to act on behalf of the party. According to INEC, none of the primary elections conducted by the Abure-led faction were monitored by its officials. Now, to discuss this, we are joined by a member of the Labour Party, Monday Mahwa. Monday, thanks for joining us.
Should be good afternoon.
Monday, can you provide clarity on any court judgments that have, affected the leadership structure of the Labour Party in recent months?
Well, I think there are several judgments of the court that has actually affected the leadership of Labour Party. I think the most recent and most important of them all is the one of the Supreme Court, which was delivered recently. And don't forget, the Supreme Court is the apex court in Nigeria. In other words, it is the last court, and any judgment from that emanating from that court is to be respected and complied with by every person, authority throughout the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That is the provision of Section 287 of the 1999 Constitution as amended. Now, that court in that judgment declared unequivocally that Abure is no longer the chairman of Labour Party. And that judgment by itself sacked Abure as the national chairman of Labour Party. And all we have expected all along is that INEC will come up with a position outlining itself with the position of the Supreme Court judgment, because they cannot go outside of that judgment. So I think what INEC has decided to do now is only trying to obey the judgment of the Supreme Court. I don't want to go back to other court judgment. Don't forget, there was a convention organized by Abure and some of his co-travelers in Nnewi in Anambra State. And that convention, INEC was invited, though they did not monitor it. But I'm not saying in any way that INEC monitoring of a convention gives any validity to it or otherwise. They did not monitor it. After that convention, Abure sent his name and those that he purportedly said emanated or emerged from the convention to INEC for recognition. And INEC refused. And when he discovered that INEC refused, he approached the Federal High Court, asking the court to compel INEC to recognize him and those that emerged from the primary. Somehow, somewhat, he got judgment from the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja before Justice Omotosho. That judgment was appealed to the Court of Appeal. Court of Appeal also affirmed the judgment of the lower court. Unfortunately, a further appeal to the Supreme Court by Nenadi-led fashion, the Supreme Court set aside the various judgment both from the High Court, the Court of Appeal, and held that the court themselves they do not have the jurisdiction to dabble into the issue of leadership of Labour Party, and that they were wrong to have confirmed Abure as the national chairman of the Labour Party. The Supreme Court thereafter set aside those judgments and declared that Abure is not chairman. And so I think that remains the position of the leadership issue in Labour Party as of today. And I think I've addressed this issue some time ago, that Abure can no longer parade himself as the national chairman of Labour Party in view of the judgment of the Supreme Court.
All right, Mr. Monday. Mr. Monday, let's talk about factionalism now. I mean, what's it looking like? How is the party addressing concerns about factionalism, especially as it affects the electoral preparedness for the by-elections?
Well, unfortunately, this is where we are. The Labour Party now has been divided into various factions. I can't even tell you now for sure that I know the numbers of factions that we have in Labour Party. We have the Abure-led faction, which, as far as I'm concerned, is the authentic leadership of Labour Party today. Because if you remove the national chairman of a party, the deputy should assume office. And by Section 14, sub B, 2, paragraph B of the Labour Party constitution, it says that in the absence of the national chairman, the deputy national chairman takes over. And Alhaji Lamidi Apapa is the deputy national chairman of Labour Party. So we have that Apapa fashion today, which I believe is the valid fashion. Then we also have the one Abure is also dragging, that we call it the Abure fashion. We now also have the Senator Nenadi-led fashion. Don't forget the case I just mentioned earlier on, where the Supreme Court sacked Abure. The case was prosecuted by Senator Nenadi-led fashion. Apart from that, there is another fashion again. And my brother, I can't tell you how many fashion we have for now, but unfortunately, the problem we are now having is that this fashion is every day reducing the importance of the Labour Party. It's reducing the chances of Labour Party to win any election. Now look at what is happening now in the area council election in Abuja. They have removed our names. Because to be sincere, INEC is correct. Abure can no longer validly and legally submit lists to any authority in his capacity as a national chairman of Labour Party. It will be invalid.
Now, Monday, still talking about the internal issues in the Labour Party, can you confirm, or do you think that the Labour Party is considering a reconciliation process, between the factions to, prevent further electoral setbacks?
Yes, I can say that there are moves on the way. And I think a couple of weeks ago, we saw the former vice presidential candidate of the Labour Party, person of Senator Dati, who attended a meeting called by Abure and some of his group. And I think in that meeting, was trying to mediate to see how it can bring everybody together. But the problem is this: Abure's insistence that he must be the chairman or nobody else is what is destroying the Labour Party today. And my advice is that we are moving forward now to see how everybody can be brought together. Because without that, we can't live where we are now. And don't forget, what we have now is a political problem. And every political problem, we always need a political solution to redress it. And I think, by God's grace, I think if Peter Obi also, if he does not leave us to go and join the ADC group, if he decides to come in and bring everybody together, I think in no distant time, all of this lingering issue within the party would be resolved. And they will come back again as a stronger party, ready for the 2027 general election.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Monday, for having this conversation with us. And I'm hoping that indeed, the issues, the internal issues with the Labour Party will be sorted out so that future elections are not affected what's happening right now with what's happening in the by-elections coming up in Abuja. But thank you so much for having this conversation with us.
It's a pleasure to be here again. Thank you.